5, 4, 3, 2.
I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful. Live life, breathe air, I know somehow we're gonna get there and feel so wonderful. It's all for real, I'm telling you just how I feel. So wake up the members of my nation, it's your time to be. There's no chance unless you take one, and the time to see the brighter side of every situation. Some things are meant to be, so give your best and leave the rest.
Hey, here are a few statistics about the effects coronavirus has had on emissions around the world. Big cities like New York City have seen a 10 to 15% decrease in emissions, while China as a whole has seen a 25% decrease in emissions. Coal usage is also down in China. Transport, which makes up 1/3 of carbon emissions, has also seen a sharp drop-off. Industry has halted, which makes up 1/5 of emissions. 10% of coal usage has been completely wiped out. Major cities have seen the best air quality in decades. But once things get back to normal, emissions will eventually go up. And they might even surpass previous usage as countries try to rally their economies. But hopefully, coronavirus has changed some of our behaviors for the better.
One positive effect COVID-19 has had on the environment is with wildlife. With less demand for fish, scientists say that fish biomass will increase, and some fish, such as herring, could even double their biomass. Wildlife is also being spotted in places they haven't been before. Sea turtles have been laying eggs on beaches they once avoided because of lower light pollution and people. Wildlife such as deer and mountain goats are now roaming the streets because of less human traffic. And in Thailand, rival gangs of monkeys now roam the streets fighting over food. Because of COVID-19, wildlife now has more space to roam and be free from human interaction.
Hey everybody, as you may have noticed, our theme this week is positive things correlating to the corona outbreak, and what I'm about to share is certainly not an exception to this. NASA reported in the past few weeks that they've been using the outbreak to gather data on how fossil fuels and air traffic affect our environment. The way they explain this is that the lack of air travel and fossil fuel emissions allows us to see how much of certain chemicals are being pumped into the air through these means. And they are also partnering with the European Space Agency to do so, so we'll be having a more global view of what's going on. NASA also intends to track weather changes as we shift into summer, so we can use this to see if the rise in temperature has any correlation to the cases of COVID-19, allowing us to use that for our benefit and figure out whether the virus correlates with temperature or not. Alright, well, that's all I'm reporting for today. Kind of. I'm gonna hand this off to Silas from 1 week ago, who uploaded his video in the wrong place. So consider this a 2-for-1 deal. Without any further ado, take it away, Silas. Hello, my once and future friends, and welcome to the Silas Review Desk. Wait, this is just... To be fair, this is just my regular desk, but this time we're reviewing things. Let's jump straight into this. The first product that I'm reviewing today is a podcast from the Last Podcast Network known as No Dogs in Space. And as the name may suggest, this podcast isn't about dogs or space. Rather, this is a music history podcast that is currently doing a 10-part series about the history of punk rock music. Very interesting, I gotta say. Co-hosts Marcus Parks and Carolina Hidalgo really hit the spot with a balance between making sure they fit in music so that everyone can really experience it, educating those about the history of the music, and entertaining at the same time. The music that they do choose to play really does set the tone well with what they're trying to convey. I'm looking forward to see what they do in the future. If any of this sounds interesting to you, the podcast is available for free on Spotify. The first part of their series is about the Stooges, and I can say after listening to that podcast part, I am now a Stooges fan. Very good music, I also recommend. Now, time for another product. I actually had a hard time coming up with a second product, as most of the games I've played, movies I've watched, and music I've listened to aren't exactly school appropriate, and I'm definitely not talking about my anime habits, so without further ado, I present this authentic Nixon and Agnew presidential pin. I don't know whether this is from their first or second run, but it's here. It's not really designed all that well. As you can see, Agnew is sort of blurry in the image of them. I don't know who made it, and there's no real back to the pin, so it creates a much bigger chance of just sort of stabbing yourself trying to put it on, so it sort of defeats the purpose if you want to show your support, because you probably don't want to be hurting yourself. Anyway, that's all I have time for today, and I really hope that this one take is good enough to put on air. So, take care, guys. Stay safe out there, and stay well. Peace.
Hello, BOHS TV. During rough times, we need to focus on the positive things. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the positive outcomes of the coronavirus and how it's brought our community and couples. 25% of neighbors didn't even talk before corona, but now they talk from a safe distance and are getting to know each other and check in on each other. 30% of people started checking in on older relatives and helping them go to the grocery store for them so they don't have risk to exposure or any of that. Our food bank donations have gone up by 13%. 49% of people in a relationship say corona is bringing them closer to their loved one, and nearly half of the people are trying new fun things like date night. And yeah, I'm so happy the community is coming together all around the world and we all can help each other out. So that's all I have for today. Have a good day.
The coronavirus pandemic has led to an increase in air quality all around the world. Lockdowns have resulted in factories and roads shutting down, thus reducing emissions. Ground station metrics from Wuhan show how certain pollutants, including nitrogen dioxide, were at record lows during the first few months of the year. Some of the major sources of nitrogen dioxide are vehicle exhaust, power plants, and wastewater treatment plants. Scientists say nitrogen dioxide pollution has been steadily decreasing over the last few years. However, the lockdown may have contributed to this year's drop.